So I spent £429 on a pair of Ray-Ban Meta glasses, which isn't cheap. These are the Ray-Ban Meta Blayzer Optics Gen 2 in Havana with clear lenses, and I've been using them for a little while now, mainly for filming myself making stained glass and other crafty stuff. And just to be clear about what kind of review this is my review of these glasses specifically in the context of being a crafter. I'm not reviewing them as a hiker, a travel content creator, or somebody who's going to be wearing them out and about all day. I bought them because I make things with my hands. I want to film what I'm making, and I ideally want to do that whilst I still have both of those hands available. So that's the context that I'm reviewing them in. Now, before I get into it, I know these have been referred to as glasses, and they're a bit of a hot topic at the moment. So I'm not going to share my opinion on any of that. I'm just going to review them based on how I personally use them, which is mostly at home filming myself making things. And the reason I bought them was actually really simple. I was fed up with terrible camera angles, stupid sticks, wobbly phones, balancing things against other things, and generally trying to film something while also trying to make the thing because I only have two hands. And that brings me immediately to the thing that I absolutely, completely love about these. I have both my hands. I love this. I love it. I can't explain how nice it is to just work. I can cut glass, I can grind glass, I can foil glass, I can solder glass, and you can see what I'm doing from my point of view without me having to hold anything or set anything up. That is, without question, my favourite thing about them. There's also this lovely immediacy to having a camera literally attached to your face. If something happens that I want to film, I don't have to think, where's my phone? I just click, boom, recording. You don't miss the moment, and I absolutely love that. I think the biggest learning curve for me has probably been the camera positioning. It's also higher than you think it is. So I can be staring directly at a piece of glass, absolutely convinced I've captured some beautiful close-up footage, and then watch it back and discover that I filmed half of it. And my solution has been to wear them slightly further down my nose, like a secretary. It genuinely helps. Although I've also recently made an incredible discovery, something revolutionary. You can zoom in when you're editing the footage. So I've stopped trying quite so hard to physically get the camera as close as possible to whatever I'm doing. I can keep everything safely in frame and just crop it afterwards. The other thing you have to get used to is the fact that your audience is basically attached to your head. If I'm filming on my phone, I can carry on working and look around wherever I like. If I'm filming with these and I suddenly go, look sharply to the side, then you're all coming with me. Every time I move my head, the camera moves with it, which sounds incredibly obvious, but you don't realise how much you naturally look around until you watch the footage back. Short clips, doesn't matter, edit it out. But if you're recording something continuously because you want to speed it up afterwards, you have to get quite good at keeping your head still. I've basically learned to look around with my eyes while keeping my head pointing at my work like some kind of Victorian portrait. So, do these replace my phone? No, absolutely not. And I think that's quite important if you're considering buying these specifically for making content. If you gave me footage of the same thing from my phone and from these and asked me which ones I wanted, I'd choose the phone footage. It's just better. Sometimes it's also much easier to put my phone down somewhere, frame the shot exactly how I want it, and leave it alone. So I still use my phone. I still use my proper camera for finished product photographs, and these haven't taken over everything, but what they do give me is convenience. My phone gives me the better controlled shot, but these give me instant point of view footage with both my hands available. And actually, when I'm editing a video, I quite like having both because I can switch between the different angles. With all that said, I really like the footage that these produce. I like the colours, I like the contrast, and I think the footage feels quite true to what I can actually see, if that makes sense. I've got mine set to record the higher resolution video, which gives me clips up to 3 minutes long. And for what I'm doing, that's plenty. There's longer recording options at lower resolution, but honestly, I don't really need them. I'm mostly making short form content for social media to promote my products and share what I'm making. And they shoot video in portrait. Again, for me, not a problem because most of what I'm making is for social media anyway. And with the high resolution footage, if I desperately wanted a landscape clip, I could just crop it. And I do take stills with them occasionally as well. At the moment, I use the physical button because I haven't bothered setting up the voice controls. I probably would if I specifically wanted to take a photograph with both my hands in the shot, but honestly, I tend to default to video. And for proper photographs of the finished piece, I'm still getting my actual camera out. So these aren't replacing that either. You can clearly see the little light on the inside when you're recording, which I really appreciate because then I know that I'm filming when I'm filming. I got mine set up so I've got video on long press, hyperlapse on the other control, and images on short press. Once you got used to it, it's really, really easy. And then there's getting the footage off of them, which is another thing I love. When I'm finished filming, I fold the glasses up and then they send the footage over to my phone automatically. And because I have my phone shared with my PC, it's basically there on my computer straight away. And I love that. That's a massive convenience factor. So the whole reason I bought these was to make filming a lot less intrusive. And I think that carries on after I've finished recording as well. What is slightly less delightful is finding the next clip I want when I'm actually editing, because things don't always end up in a nice logical order. Comfort-wise, I've been really impressed as well. And this is coming from somebody who's technically supposed to wear glasses and usually ends up taking them off because I don't like having things on my face all day. Mine aren't prescription lenses, they're just clear, which is probably for the best because I can already tell I'm eventually going to scratch the life out of them. I am using them in stained glass workshop after all, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that I'm not particularly precious about them. I'm not going to throw them loose into a toolbox or leave them laying around somewhere ridiculous. They cost £429, but equally, I bought them to use them, and they feel robust enough that I'm comfortable doing that. The Ray-Bans aren't really loud enough for me over the grinder, and I also prefer having my ears covered when I'm working with something that noisy. I'm quite sensitive to noise sometimes, so they don't quite hit the mark for me there. But for podcasts on music while I'm doing quieter things, totally fine. And I really enjoyed them whilst walking the dog. With these, I could listen to my podcast and still hear my surroundings. And I really like that when you take the glasses off, whatever you're listening to stops. So if I was approaching other people, I could just take them off. Nice little feature. As for the Meta AI stuff, haven't really used it. I haven't even particularly felt the need to set everything up. At the moment, when I'm crafting, I don't really want something else trying to get my attention. I didn't buy these because I desperately wanted AI attached to my face. I basically bought a camera for my face, and I'm quite happy with that. Battery-wise, they do run out fairly quickly. That's definitely something to be aware of, but they also charge pretty quickly. So in practice, it hasn't bothered me as much as I thought it might. I'll use them, put them back in their case to charge while I'm doing something else, and then use them again later. So that brings us to the next big question. Are they actually worth £429? And my answer is, maybe? Because £429 is a lot of money. And I think whether they're worth that completely depends on you, your budget, and what £429 means to you. If you run an independent shop and you've got £429 available, but spending it on these means you're not buying £429 worth of glass, materials, tools, stock, or something else you actually need, honestly, buy the glass. You absolutely do not need these to make content. You can get by perfectly well with a phone. These are a luxury convenience. And for me, the convenience is the thing that I absolutely love. I'm paying for the ability to make something, think, oh, I want to capture this. And then, boom, I've got it. No setup, no tripod, no balancing my phone against something, no stopping what I'm doing. And most importantly, I have both my hands. So are they life-changing? No. Are they the best camera I own? Also no. Are they the best headphones I own? Definitely not. Do I need them? No. But do I love them? Yeah, I think I really, really do. And I will totally continue using them. If mine broke tomorrow, completely out of warranty, would I immediately hand over another £429? Maybe. But I might probably have a look at what other tiny wearable camera options there are available first. Because I think what these have really sold me on is wearing point of view filming, and that's what I love. The convenience, the immediacy, both hands-free, not missing the moment, and being able to show you what I'm seeing while I'm making something. Would another pair of Ray-Bans be very high on my list? If they made one where the camera was in the middle, I really hope that this review has helped anyone that's considering buying the Ray-Ban glasses, particularly for crafting. Yeah, I definitely think that there's potential for tattoo artists, for people that create things that really need both their hands and they don't really have much table space or tripod space around, or where it's like a really fleeting, changing environment. So yeah, tattooing, definitely. Painting, especially like landscape painting and things like that. And that's my review. Thanks for listening and watching, and I'll see you in the next one.